Arise. If you're like me, you could probably hear this word and feel goosebumps after hearing it. I mean, the whole world has had goosebumps this year, with Solo Leveling being one of the most talked about anime. With Sung Ji-Woo's insane aura points and those crazy cliffhangers every week, it has easily taken its place as one of the GOATs. We've gotten to see really OP characters from this show, and it makes us question who really is the strongest in Solo Leveling. Well, we've got you covered with this, and it will surprise you that Ji-Woo doesn't even take the #1 spot. Now, let's get to it. Here are the top 10 strongest characters in Solo Leveling. 10. The Monarch and King of the Snowfolk, Szilard. We're starting right off the bat with a Monarch, one of the strongest beings from the dark side. Don't let his appearance fool you. Szilard is a powerhouse possessing immense physical strength. He went toe-to-toe against Go Gun-hee, one of the strongest fragments of brilliant lights, and also pushed Ji-Woo to his limits using brute force alone during their second battle, even though he jumped him with 2 other monarchs. But would he be called the Frost Monarch without his insane cryokinesis? He is winter personified. He could easily manipulate and create ice, creating massive waves of ice, shaping ice into weapons, summoning monsters, and even conjuring devastating ice storms. He also has the ability to put humans as strong as A-ranked hunters to sleep with just the snap of a finger. Yet, with all the brawn and magic, he still has a good brain, being aware of his and his opponent's strengths and forming plans based on that, like how he teamed up with the 2 other monarchs to fight Ji-Woo. Well, Ji-Woo eventually showed him who was colder. 9. Turok, the king of monstrous humanoids and the monarch of the Iron Body. Coming in the #9 spot is another monarch. We first see Turok appear when he and 2 other monarchs jumped Christopher Reed, although we don't get to see much of his power on display then. When Antares invaded the human world, Turok accompanied him and confronted the #1 hunter in the world, Thomas Andre, upon spotting him on the battlefield. To be fair, Turok was leagues ahead of Andre, however, he was jumped due to his arrogance when he failed to realize that Thomas had come prepared. He was caught completely off guard when Billion and Beru emerged from Thomas's shadow. 3v1 must have felt familiar to him. 8. Rakan, the king of beasts and the monarch of fangs. As his title suggests, Rakan was a beast, both literally and metaphorically. He was someone who existed for the hunt and for the blood. Rakan was aggressive and arrogant as a warrior, with an intense bloodlust toward those he deemed as enemies. As the savage that he was, he relied on his physical traits like advanced speed, strength, stamina, and regeneration, which were off the charts as a monarch. He easily overpowered the #1 hunter in the world, Thomas Andre, even when he used his spiritual body manifestation. That would have killed him if Leonard Newman hadn't intervened, and then Ji-Woo arrived to save both their skins. To his credit, Rakan was the only one to technically kill Sung Ji-Woo. But when Ji-Woo was revived, Rakan ran with his tail between his legs. But Ji-Woo found him. 7. Legia, the king of giants and the monarch of the beginning. Next on our list is the king of giants himself. Legia was a huge and muscular man with gray skin, long messy black hair, a sloppy beard, and glowing red eyes. However, that's pretty much all we get to know about him. We never really got to see much of his power since the rulers restrained him with mana-absorbing chains. But we should still be able to make an estimate of his strength, seeing that he was the king of giants who commanded an army of giants, which were forces to be reckoned with, especially in large numbers. Even a single giant was far stronger than most high-ranking hunters, including Yuri Orlov, and a group of them almost destroyed Japan. Imagine what havoc Legia would have done if Ji-Woo had released him. 6. Baran, the king of demons and the monarch of white flames. Number 6 on our list is Baran, the original one, not the clone Baran that Ji-Woo fought. If Ji-Woo had met the real one that time, let's just say that Solo Leveling would have ended in that chapter. Eons ago, Baran fought alongside the other monarchs, including the Shadow Monarch Ashborn, in a devastating battle against the rulers. As the war progressed, Antares, the strongest monarch, began to fear Ashborn's growing power. In response, he ordered Baran and Rakan to eliminate Ashborn, showing the trust he had in Baran's abilities. However, this proved to be a mistake. Ashborn brutally defeated both Baran and Rakan in the battle that followed. Nonetheless, Baran had some crazy abilities like lightning attacks, which he can even shoot from his mouth, and even commands an army of demons. Number 5 on our list is one of the reasons that anime solo leveling exists, just like how this channel would not exist without your support, so please leave a like and remember to subscribe. 5. The False Monster, Sung Il-hwan. Sung Il-hwan was the father of Sung Jinwoo. Technically, without him, Jinwoo wouldn't exist. Also, we wouldn't have gotten to see our Shadow Monarch rise to his full power. He was actually one of the first S-rank hunters in all of Korea. However, since the ranking system didn't exist at the time, he was never publicly recognized for his strength. Il-hwan got trapped inside a dungeon during a raid, leaving his family to presume him dead, his wife to raise their children alone, and Jinwoo to fend for the family when he came of age. However, in the dungeon before he could die, Il-hwan was found by the rulers, who made him one of their 7 vessels. But is he really that strong? Well, seeing that he's ranked above some monarchs, he has to be. During the Monarch's War arc, Il-hwan was able to send the Frost Monarch flying with just a kick, and caused Rakan intense pain by stabbing him right through the jaw. And all of that while his body couldn't even exert the full power of the vessels due to how long he had been holding onto his strength. He completely held both monarchs back as Jinwoo was going through the process of fully becoming the Shadow Monarch. And also, he defeated S+ rank Hwang Dong-soo in mere seconds before too much damage could be done to the environment. Il-hwan was a monster. We believe that he scaled higher than even most monarchs in solo leveling, if the fight were to be 1v1. He is perhaps the strongest hunter after Sung Jinwoo. 4. Ashborn, the original Shadow Monarch. Originally, Ashborn was the strongest of all rulers, and when he fell, he became a being that brought fear to both allies and foes alike. He was the original Shadow Monarch, the master of death. During his era, Ashborn was regarded as the 2nd strongest monarch, behind only the next on our list. He was strong enough to brutally overpower 2 monarchs at once in battle and crush Baran's skull like a grape in one hand. Ashborn could use ruler's authority, shadow exchange, and of course, shadow extraction, which made him the king of the dead. His army consisted of millions of loyal shadows all ready to fight for him, and the longer the battle went on, the stronger his army became. We've finally gotten to our top 3. Can you guess who's the 3rd on our list? Well, if you guessed Antares, then you're right. 3. Antares, the king of dragons and the monarch of destruction. Antares was made for one thing and one thing alone: destruction. You see, Antares was both the strongest and the oldest monarch, as well as the final antagonist of solo leveling. Everywhere he went, carnage followed, and he was one of the most powerful individuals in existence. Only Ashborn came close to him, and yet he was still slightly superior in raw power. He's basically overpowered in every way you think is possible. He possessed almost unparalleled durability and was virtually invulnerable to all physical trauma. He tanked Jinwoo's attacks like they were nothing. As the king of dragons and destruction, Antares literally spat fire from his mouth, which could instantly reduce the average S-rank hunter to ash, and erase shadow soldiers from existence, which was almost impossible. And he had even the strongest of dragons similar to Kamish in terms of power as his subjects. 2. The Aura King, Sung Jinwoo. Not many words are needed to describe Sung Jinwoo, as his actions speak for themselves. Sung Jinwoo, even though he was an E-class, almost stared death in his face, until he became its ruler. Along with his army, he was able to defeat Antares' army, and thus Jinwoo naturally deserves to be placed higher than him. He himself is a one-man army, but when you add his undying shadow soldiers, just say your prayers. His necromancy, insane speed, durability, strength, hand-to-hand combat ability, regeneration, healing, armor creation, and a bunch of overpowered magical skills allow him to excel in every aspect of fighting. From being the weakest E-rank to being the pinnacle of all creation, Sung Jinwoo is the GOAT. But with that all said, who could be stronger than Sung Jinwoo? Well, it seems you're forgetting one very important character. 1. The Absolute Being. The Absolute Being was a god, and the creator of both the monarchs and the rulers. He was the one who created everything that was in existence, including objects with otherworldly powers such as the Cup of Reincarnation. Even though he was defeated when the rulers decided to rebel against him, the fact remains, this individual is indeed the strongest character in Solo Leveling. So that's the end of our list. What do you think? Do others deserve to be on the list? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Adios!